just realized that we've gone through the whole intro and you couldn't hear us. That is unfortunate. I figured we have something off here. Welcome to the show, everybody. So shout out Advanced, our official drink supplement provider here on ABN. Link is posted in the chats on both Patreon and YouTube. We're glad they jumped on board for our anniversary, our 8-year anniversary on July 26th. Now they're with us, and we couldn't be happier that they're on board. We went through a lot there as we kind of previewed the information leading into the race tonight. Super important. Obviously, Rick Ravon has an advantage, a sizable advantage, almost 3 races. Didn't have the hottest race in Kansas 2 weeks ago. Edson Santos, the winner there. Bobby Blowers, Lance Anthony both felt like they left something on the table there in the Midwest. So we come here to Atlanta Speedway. So we'll see how things pan out as this goes along. Battle for the Rookie of the Year honors between Louis Frazier and Nick Cressy. That is raging forward as well. 4 races to go. Atlanta tonight, Phoenix, Portland, and Fontana is how things stack up. A huge shout out to all the providers and supporters for the Crown Athletics Racing Tour. It's IndyCar Series, Crown Athletics, LA Designs, B. Smith Maintenance, Magnolia Laser, and everyone else involved as well. Shout out all of our Premier Tier patrons who have helped us significantly while we were offline. We were offline 4 p.m. Tuesday, stayed offline Wednesday, came back online at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. So about 35 minutes ago is when we came back online. We weren't expecting to be here. So that was the audio hiccup early on in this broadcast. Hopefully that's the worst that it is. But if there are other issues, we do apologize. But we didn't have a lot of time to get ready for this because we weren't online. We weren't expecting to be here. So a lot of things to sort of deal with there. Looks like we do have a late addition to the conversation. Dylan Williams has joined the fray. And if I'm not mistaken, we do not have him in our overlay. So we will adjust that while we've got a chance. He is, but he's assigned as he's not. He doesn't have a number assigned to him, so we'll fix that. So let's go ahead and take a shot at that. Here's how the qualifying results currently look. Rick Ravon currently looking at pole position as things stand. Not a bad place to be. Ravon and Pressy on the front row at the moment. Not many on the racetrack here, so it looks like we might be set at how this top 10 looks at the moment. Ravon, Pressy, Jones, Gaiman, Blowers, Fields, Jade, Sawyer, Osborne, and Staton. Looking set to be your top 10 here on the qualifying rundown. "23 cars here in Atlanta. Refreshing the overlay here, so bear with us. No one really on the racetrack. Dylan Williams looks like he was about to try to set qualifying time. It looks like that will not be the case. And so 15 with set qualifying times. The rest will start at the back of the field for this 125 lap event here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And since we had the audio scratched out at the beginning part of this, we'll actually go and shout out our Patreon subscribers here. Trade Up Slogan, Dogman2935, Eli Sassick, Jason Scott, Alfred Denny, Weekend Hobby 22, Philip Snipes, Tyler Head, B-Dogs, Colin McDonough, Blue, KJ Gibney, J-Paw, Jake Potak, and June. Almost all of them celebrating their anniversaries over the past week. They've been extremely instrumental to us here on ABM, especially the last few days with us being knocked offline and everything that goes with it. It'll be a busier weekend than normal because we missed Tuesday's HTL Champ Car Challenger Series broadcast. We'll have a special Friday night truck racing broadcast tomorrow night that we can't wait to be on board with, where you will catch up on the HTL Challenger Series. That'll be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. You're going to want to be a part of that as well. I'm aware the music was still playing. That was by design. And we're going to have more music because it's time for the starting grid here in Atlanta Motor Speedway. The front row, Rick Ravon and Nick Pressey. They'll lead us to the green flag here tonight in Atlanta Motor Speedway. Rick Ravon, this is his 16th career pole position tonight. Byron Jones, Josh Gaiman, they make up row number 2 on the grid. Bobby Flowers and Nate Fields, they're row 3. Nate Fields, your Indy 500 pole sitter, back in April. Blue Jade and Tucker Sawyer on row 4. Tucker Sawyer, the reigning ABN World Champion, starting behind the reigning kart champion, Bobby Flowers, who's trying to keep his championship hopes alive here tonight. Josh Osborne, Brandon Staton, your top 10 is how things round out here. You see the field on pit lane, getting ready to go racing. Staton, top 10, finished on the podium 2 weeks ago in Kansas. Keel Aldridge qualified row 6, one of his better qualifying efforts this season. He's alongside Lance Anthony, making his 85th start tonight. Scott McCann and Nico Andrade in row 7. Nico Andrade making his debut tonight. Scott McCann made his debut earlier this season and has not missed a beat since making his debut in that PPG machine. Andrew Fay and Corey Colby will make up row 8. Corey Colby, his first race of the season, alongside Andrew Fay, who's been on a part-time drive this campaign. DJ Trout, Dylan Williams in row 9. Dylan Williams, his first start of the season in that number 32 machine, starting 16th tonight. William Rucker, Casey Ellis, they're in row 10. Rounding out your top 20, Willie Frazier and Billy Smith in row 11. Work to do for both of them. From outside the top 20, RC Grove in that 7-Eleven car will round out the top of the field. 23 cars ready to go racing here tonight. Almost showtime. Rick Ravon trying to put a bow on the championship before we even get to Phoenix next week. The green flag flies away. We go in trouble immediately, and it's a huge crash. First gear catches everyone out. Rookie mistakes in a big way. Throw the field upside down. Before we even get to the green flag, Williams on his return to the series. Blue Jade in trouble. And it's trouble immediately. So let's take a look at what happened here. First gear is the reason why. And Blue Jade's going to be part of the accordion here. Everyone trying to get that perfect launch instead of just trying to survive. Just everyone gets clobbered there. It's Tucker Sawyer, believe, that makes contact. No, I think it's Nate Fields, I believe, that makes contact with Blue Jade. And if you want a little bit of proof, you can see the gear on the screen of the steering wheel. Nate Fields was trying to throttle it up. And unfortunately, causes a pretty big accident, kicking this race off. Pretty big disaster there. And right on board here with Lily Frazier, who had a pretty big view of all this as well. They saw the green flag come out, and everyone piled in. And Frazier, pretty well alert to what was going on there. And so Dylan Williams' his race is over before we even get to turn one. Blue Jade about to use that quick repair to get back on the racetrack multiple laps down. And so, here we go. So some rookie mistakes set us back a little bit on this current start. We're now on our first restart. Rayvon leads the way for Pressey, Gaiman, Blowers, and Nico Andrade. Billy Smith up to 6th. Gil Aldridge in 7th. William Rucker in 8th. Tucker Sawyer in 9th. And Brandon Statton, now your top 10. As we get ready to go racing once again. Where lessons learned. How many people were going to be trying to restart this race in first gear? And how many people thunderfoot it? We'll find out. Rayvon leads the way. Pretty pedestrian crawl, 60 miles an hour to the restart zone, and away we go. Rayvon leads the way on this restart. Andrade pretty careful on that. Trouble behind. Byron Jones and others involved in this. It looks like that might be Andrew Fay. It is. Andrew Fay and Brandon Statton all involved early here. When we made it through turn 1, turn 2 was the hiccup this go around. So what happened on this go-around? We'll look from the green flag here, and we'll look from the spotter stand. Everyone trying to take it a little bit more timid there. You saw part of the issue. There you go. Back it up. That double white line. We said it at Kansas 2 weeks ago. I guess we'll need to say it again here. Don't touch it. Every caution in Kansas was caused by someone straddling the white line where the apron meets the racetrack in Kansas 2 weeks ago. Josh Gaiman, Tucker Sawyer, John Matthews all ate it. And here you see Billy Smith, who's the first car in line on the bottom, is the one that spins. Andrew Fay almost spins, has to get checked out of the throttle here in a pretty big way. Scott McCann's day is done. And you're going to see why here. Everyone goes for a scramble. Nothing that Andrew Fay can do, nothing that Scott McCann can do. You are very quickly a passenger along for the ride. Brandon Statton's day is done as well. But don't touch the white line. Don't touch it at Kansas. Don't touch it here at Atlanta. It's not healthy. It's not safe. It's not good. And so in the opening 7 laps of this race, we have run green for 1 corner. Unfortunately, this won't be the last. There will be more. As we saw in Kansas 2 weeks ago, ambition can overcome adhesion. And typically someone gets bitten sooner rather than later. 16 cars on the lead lap at the moment. We get ready to restart here on lap 9. Blue Jade, 1 lap down. Billy Smith still on pit lane. Brandon Statton's day is done. Scott McCann's day is done. Dylan Williams, his day is done. Your top 2 is still the top 2. Ravon and Pressey haven't really had to worry about being under threat yet. We'll see if that changes. Byron Jones dropped from 3rd to 13th in these 2 starts. Second restart coming up with Ravon out in front. 60 miles an hour to the restart zone. And away we go. Pressey wants a chance at the race lead. First opportunity, he had to really actually try for it here. And for the first time tonight, these cars are now up to full speed. What does full speed look like? Pretty rapid. Blackout speeds. 238, 239, 240 entering turn 1 as the race leader. Gaiman in front of Pressey for second. Flowers in fourth. Gaiman wants a chance of that race lead. Ravon doing what he did for the beginning part of the race in Kansas, and that is defend the white line, defend that inside lane. We're going to spread out just a little bit here on this restart. Down to 15 cars on lead lap. Casey Ellis down pit lane this time around. Down the back straightaway. The drone had to be super quick on that one. Ravon knows that Game is running a little bit higher up, so he's not defending the inside quite as hard in the corners. So to set the line, Ravon leads that lap. When you get some green flag running, it's pretty rapid. As we're seeing there. Lap times around this mile and a half, 23.0 across the board. Pretty intense laps being run right now. 6 cars at the front of the field, and then a second gap down to William Rucker in 7th. That's how things currently sit. Josh Osborne sitting in that 6th spot behind Tucker Sawyer, who is sitting behind Bobby Blowers, the reigning ABN and kart champions. 4th and 5th right now. Pretty well spread out further back. We've already lost quite practically 6 cars from this race. Damon and Pressey battling for second. Ravon pulls away just a little bit as those two battle it out. Great to see from Blowers. Pressey hanging in there for third. Let's keep an eye on William Rucker on his way closing in. Nico Andrade, the 22. A little bit further adrift than he'd like to be right now, under threat from DJ Trout. That is for 8th. Ravon out in front. Gaiman, Pressey, Blowers still in that battle for your top 5. Rucker and Osborne for 6th. Kill Aldridge down pit lane. The 74 will make a pit stop here. And we'll quickly go a lap down and change. Gaiman giving Ravon a 5/10 buffer, half a second in favor of the points leader. As things stand in the points, if this is how it finished, Ravon's champion with 3 races to go. Blowers knows it. He's trying to get the move on there. He needs to be ahead of Ravon no matter what. Battling side by side with Pressey. A little bit of latency there, it looks like on our end. Thankfully, everyone keeps it going in the right direction. Pressy drifts up really high up towards the fence and loses that spot to Blowers. Blowers up to third. Rayvon has pulled a second plus on Josh Gaiman here. Something tells me Josh Gaiman is not running full power here, because they have lost drafting distance to Rayvon, and that doesn't happen unless you have turned your engine down. So Gaiman gets dispatched by Blowers for second. Pressy in fourth still, now dealing with Tucker Sawyer, who's on his climb up, first time racing these cars in Atlanta. He's raced the Gen 7 stock car, part of the H-Tail Cup Series. He's raced here in Atlanta several times in those cars. The first time in the IndyCar machine, the IR-18. Gaiman tags the fence there just a little bit. Allows Pressy through, allows Sawyer through. Appreciate Blake Henderson watching along. Home racetrack for Blake Henderson and Henderson Graphics. Made a point out, the camera set that we're using right now. Traditionally made for stock cars that run a lot slower here than these cars are. H-Tail Cup Series cars here at Atlanta run about 180, 190. We're touching 240 every lap. So it's about a 50-mile-an-hour difference. Sawyer gets around Pressy for third. Gaiman has really lost touch. Down to fifth and really closer to DJ Trout and William Rucker at this point as things fan out. If you're just now joining us, you missed a pretty wild opening 10 laps. 2 cautions in the opening 8 laps. Took out 6 cars. 2 more laps down. Blue Jade, Keel Aldridge, still running, but laps down. Casey Ellis, Andrew Fay, Billy Smith, Brandon Tatton, Scott McCann, Dylan Williams. Days done before we even got to lap 10. Rick Rayvon trying to seal the deal and win a championship with 3 races remaining. He has been electric so far. This is his career stats, 15 wins, 9 of them this season. Tonight was his 10th pole position. He's been pretty electric to watch in this campaign. And right now he has a 3.4 second advantage over Bobby Blowers. I am struggling to understand where that gap is coming from. 3.5 seconds. It is, I understood the 1.5. It's more than doubled. And that's sort of out of my mental capacity. I'm not quite understanding how the gap has opened up quite this much now that both are in the same level of air. That is mind-boggling to me. Battle further back. This is for 7th. Byron Jones defending from William Rucker. Likewise, a little bit further back, you've got a battle here between Nico Andrade in the 22 and Corey Colby in that 86. That vibrant machine. I wouldn't say it's exactly yellow. I'm also not a good judge of color, so y'all can be the judge of that one. Josh Osborne down pit lane. You see some of the cars in the graveyard in this event. The Ravons open the gap up 4.6 seconds. This man's on his own. He is all alone at the front of the field. Dashboard at the bottom of your screen. 237 entering turns 3 and 4. Blowers is just running slower. 234 at most entering turn 3. He just doesn't have the same pace the 7 does, and that is wild to me. This is a fixed setup series. Ravon doesn't drop below 230. And he's the only driver not doing so. We'll talk about taking it out of their hands. That's how you do it. Blowers drops down to 228. Only gets up to 233. Which is still mind-boggling on its own. But the gap is 5.6 seconds. He's opening up a second every 3 laps. That is extremely concerning. If you or anyone else in this field, you should be alarmed right now. Trouble. Caution's out. Nico Andrade. A crash for the 22 on his first race in the series. Let's take a look at what happened. Looks like this is out of turns 3 and 4. And it is. Bounce off the wall. Not sure who it is they bounced off in front of. I believe. Take a look here. Kill Aldridge. Pretty big impact there for Andrade. And you're going to see the caution gets thrown. Completely locked up. But encroaches on the racing surface there. And that'll do it. Goes for a wild ride. Just runs a little bit high in turns 3 and 4. And we'll back it up here just a little bit so you can kind of see the line that he was running, because he was struggling a little bit. We saw him run backwards quite a bit. And Andrade's day is done. Tags the fence, comes across the nose of Aldridge. There you go. Happens quick, as you would imagine here in Atlanta. A lot of cars leaving pit lane now. Blowers gets ahead of Ravon, though, on the pit line. So the question now stands, has anyone figured out how Ravon's been 4 miles an hour faster under the green flag conditions? Third caution of the night. Blowers now out in front of Ravon. Now he's going to try to keep it, knowing that Rick Ravon was pulling a second every 3 laps on him. Tucker Sawyer in 3rd, DJ Trout in 4th, Josh Gaiman top 5, Byron Jones 6th, Lance Anthony, William Rucker, Nate Fields, Nick Pressey are top 10. we get ready to go back racing. I feel like this is a good time to remind you that the point standings entering this race, 505 to 365. That's Lance Anthony. Bobby Blowers already over 3 races back. He needs to gain some significant points over Rick Ravon tonight to have a chance to defend his crown. At least one more race with Phoenix coming up next Thursday. See if he can. Coming to start lap 46 at 1:25 on this go around. Blowers, Ravon, Sawyer, Trout, Gaiman, your top 5. Pretty early restart there for Blowers. Got everyone napping. Gaiman trying to take advantage of that. Trying to get back around DJ Trout. And Gaiman does get around there for the 4th position. Cressy worked around Nate Fields to get to the top 9. Frazier's also now gotten around Fields, who's dropped to 11th. Blowers in front of Ravon. That's a 10-point swing. But remember, Ravon had a 4-mile-an-hour advantage over the 1. And you got to figure out how that happened. And here you go. Blowers not even defending that. Blowers hanging with him right now. Now that he's got to him, he's able to stay with him. The issue is that you need more cars to be with you. You need him to be more than just one spot around you. You need him to have troubles at some point. 4 cars in this conversation. Sawyer and Gaiman at the tail end of this lead group. Trout in 5th. Lance Anthony in 6th. William Rucker behind Byron Jones. Nick Cressy, Nate Fields back into the top 10. It is a mid-pack cluster. Slicing and dicing inside the top 10 there. As Cressy and Rucker, Jones, and Anthony all sit in tow. Sawyer now in the mix. He wants to tango and try to go for that race lead. Josh Gaiman also, likewise, would like to rectify what he missed out on in Kansas when he crashed out. We're still hold on to 2nd. Into lap 62 is halfway here in Atlanta. Starting lap 55 now. We'll give you a ride on board with the reigning ABN World Champion Tucker Sawyer and what it looks like here in Atlanta. Drops down to 5th gear, gets passed by Gaiman. So we'll drop down to 4th for the moment. But on the dirty air just a little bit. These cars super trimmed out to get to those 240 top speeds. Still got to use those in-car tools, those anti-roll bars and the weight jacker. Handful of tools you have at your disposal to try to make the car feel a little bit better. Tucker Sawyer, not really the oval expert. Has never won an oval in IndyCar machinery, either an ABN Champ car or here. It's always been road courses. You see how quickly things sort of just change here in Atlanta. Gaiman now challenging Blowers for that second spot. Trying to move up from the second place. We have to be careful because they may just lose touch with Rick Ravon again. I think Blowers has a balance issue on his number 1 machine. He's been passed and cleared by Gaiman. He now has to try to set sail and catch up to the 7 of Rick Ravon. But he has a chance to do so. We'll see if he can. 7/10 the gap. Gap hasn't gone up. Gaiman's giving it a good shot to try to close that gap in. He's left by Blowers for dust. So it does seem, at least at the moment, that Blowers' issues are primarily down to the balance of that number 1 car. He is struggling for balance right now, and that is making life just a little bit more difficult for him. Especially at these speeds, it does not take much for everything to go completely sideways. You've seen that time and time again already. Gaiman out in front of that battle for second, chasing down Rick Ravon. On board with the 61. Gap moving up just a little bit now. 3/4 of a second. Looks like Gaiman also beginning to deal with tire loss there because he was in traffic. He burned up his tires a decent amount, trying to make things happen. Rick Ravon running the bottom of the racetrack, running it pretty easily. Gaiman hasn't been able to get to the bottom of the racetrack. You see him try now, but he has to feather out of the throttle. Whereas Rayvon doesn't. His balance, though, is a little bit better than that of Blowers, who's now lost 2 seconds to the front of the field. Battle between teammates in 11th and 12th, Frazier and Jade. This is outside the top 10, well and truly. Rayvon's now opened to second up to Gaiman. Do want to go ahead and preface this here because I did hear some rumbles of thunder outside of our booth here at Avian Studios. If we do get taken down, there's been more rain, more thunderstorms here in the vicinity. So we hope we're still good. We'd like to still be on the air, but if not, we know why. Gaiman's lost now 1.8 seconds to the race leader. Lap traffic in the way. I believe it's Keel Aldridge, and it is. Aldridge in 14th place. Didn't have to do much here. Qualified decently, qualified 11th. But typically he's been very much a right at the back of the pack and just survived the onslaught, and he's done just that tonight. 22 started this race, 14 still running. He's survived 8 DNFs in this race already, with 50 to go. The interesting part about this is that there's still a set of pit stops left to go in this race right now. Still a set of pit stops to go. The field pit on lap 43 will be third caution of the night. Just like in the HCL Cup Series, when you see them race here, they have to enter off of turn 3. Those rules exist out of the safety of the drivers. Otherwise, it'd be an onslaught coming off of turn 4 at 230 miles an hour, trying to woe down to 60. Now they enter off of turn 3. Not too dissimilar to how we would race at Homestead. Battle further back. Byron Jones, he's been on the climb forward. Up to 4th, around Tucker Sawyer. DJ Trout in 6th. And Lance Anthony in 7th. Blowers is having an issue. He is well off the pace. Everyone's struggling now for grip just a little bit. Blowers, 7, almost 8 seconds away from the race leader. As things sit, this would be a nightmare scenario. if things hold as they are right now, Rick Ravon is champion, and the last 3 races are for second. So they got to get a move on here. Sawyer been passed by Trout. Byron Jones closing in on Blowers. Looking for third. Are they having to save fuel at all? Asked David Cook Jr. The answer to that question is no. You cannot make it without making another pit stop. They have pit last pit on lap 43. It is a one-stop run straight to the finish. What is happening right now is the tires have fallen apart. For some. Some more than others. But tires are falling apart. Balance has been super important. I think a lot of the field was expecting this to be a pack race. And it's just not been that. Those that have done this before know pretty well that it never is a pack race. Last time it was a pack race would have been over 2 years ago. A lot of downforce taken out of these cars. Appreciate everyone tuning in here. There is still a set of pit stops to take here, and that's where the intrigue is. Rick Ravon, remember, he had control of the race in Kansas 2 weeks ago and really gave it away. Got a speeding penalty. Ended up going a lap down, never got that lap back. A speeding penalty here in Atlanta would be even worse because it is slower. In Kansas, you can pit off of turn 4. In Atlanta, you have to go through turn 3. You're automatically reducing your speed, and here he comes down pit lane this go around. So he's got to really take careful here. You cannot cross the white line at all. Otherwise, it is an unsafe pit entry, and that's also a stop and hold. So Rick Ravon having to really take careful here. But he comes down pit lane. So does Josh Gaiman. So Byron Jones inherits your race lead here. Less than 40 to go. Flowers comes down pit lane. And everyone will be good to the finish from here. Jones going out longer. He's hoping for a caution. Someone spinning out of pit lane. But he will come down pit lane this time. And DJ Trout will inherit the race lead. So new race leader, DJ Trout, the Nebraska native. Ahead of Lance Anthony and Nate Fields by 3 seconds. But they've got to make pit stops at some point here, and Trout comes down this time as Lance Anthony deals with traffic. That was Pressey and Ravon getting around. Pressey a lap down to Ravon here. Nate Fields coming down pit lane with Anthony. Blue Jade will inherit the race lead this time around to kick off lap 91. 35 to go. Corey Colby also staying out. Ravon will inherit the race lead if these pit stops are completed to fruition. Gaiman picks his way around. And you see Jade down pit lane this time around, so it's Colby, and that's it. I need to make pit stops to get to the finish of this race if it stays green. And Ravon, the undercut, worked out pretty sublime. It's an 8-second gap to Gaiman. He is out ahead of everybody. A little bit of traffic. That is Tucker Sawyer right in front of him. who's not going to hold him up too awful hard here. Ravon back out in front. Eamon dealing right now. That is with, I believe that's William Rucker. It is. Battle for third between teammates Byron Jones, Bobby Blowers. Jones had a pretty rapid race car on that green flag run, coming to 30 to go. We'll see how things stack up here. That car in the background, I believe that's Frazier. It is, Sully Frazier in the 13, who is also off the lead lap at the moment. Only 5 cars on the lead lap right now, down to DJ Trout. And this is the battle for the podium. This is the closest battle on the racetrack right now. It feels like these are a battle with Nick Cressy building up here. There you go. It's battle for 7th. So battle for 3rd, battle for 7th right now on the racetrack. Chris trying to defend from the Indy 500 pole sitter. Fields trying to build his way through on that battle with 25 to go. The sprint to the finish, Rick Ravon ahead of Tucker Sawyer is sitting comfy at 10.8 seconds over Josh Gaiman. Gaiman himself sitting pretty comfy. He is 7 seconds ahead of 3rd with that Byron Jones, Bobby Blowers fight. Pretty far and away from him here. 3 cars now in this battle for 7th. Fields, Cressy, and Jade has joined this conversation. Everyone pretty spread out here, as we imagined it would be when you realistically only have 13 cars running on the racetrack. Lance Anthony's day is done. So 13 cars running, 9 retirements in this race. Cressy, Field, side by side. Jade with the prime seats in the house, running on board with Jade. Around Cressy. Cressy struggling with the balance of his car as well. Battle for third simmered down just a little bit. You saw Cressy almost go up into the wall there at a turn 2. Cressy getting a loose touch in that battle for 7. As Jade battles with Fields still, with 15 to go. Jones and Flowers back at it for third. And Flowers used the inside lane to get through. The question is if he's had balance issues on that car all afternoon. Can Byron Jones outsmart him at the end here? Coming to 14 to go. Flowers trying to hang on for podium. It will not save the championship battle. That'll be wrapped up tonight. But it will be a step on the pedestal if he can hold on to it ahead of his teammate. Jones would like to steal away from him here. It'd be insult to heartbreak. The laps tick down, 10 to go. Trout's going to lap down. Rick Ravon's not far away from that battle for third to put them a lap down. But I think that Ravon is coherently aware of the battle they're in for that third spot. Three cautions. It was messy early. Cleaned up pretty quickly, though, after the first 8 laps. One additional caution on lap 41. set the stage for the remainder of the race that is played out in front of us tonight. Battle for third still raging on between those teammates for Orlando Outlaws. Ravon around Frazier, putting Frazier another lap down. He now eyes that battle for third to try to put them a lap down here. Coming to 6 laps to go. Aaron Jones trying to figure out if he has enough to get around his teammate here. Ravon in traffic and in a decent amount of dirty air too. You see it cut him off just a little bit there in 3 and 4. Had to go and adjust with 5 to go. Laps need to dial down, 4 to go. Battle for third and your race leader all in the same picture. It has been a clinical butt kicking, to say the least. 112 of 122 laps led for Rick Ravon. Coming to 2 to go. Byron Jones may have exactly 1 opportunity to take that podium away. It's going to be off the heels of that dirty air from the 7 of Ravon. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Presented by Advanced. Byron Jones will not have enough to challenge for the podium. Rick Ravon, importantly in this conversation, wins in Atlanta and takes the championship. Rick Ravon is kart champion with 3 races remaining. He wins his 10th race of the campaign in Atlanta. Not leaving anything in doubt. Rick Ravon, champion of the series. Josh Gaiman finishing 2nd. Bobby Blowers finishing 3rd. So Rick Ravon on the cooldown still is kart champion. It was always going to be an uphill climb for everybody else. And now champion of the series. A crazy race. Your results on your screen now. 3 cars finishing on lead lap. Rick Ravon, Josh Gaiman, Bobby Blowers. Your top 3 here in Atlanta. Byron Jones in 4th. DJ Trout in 5th. Ahead of Tucker Sawyer, Blue Jade, Nate Fields, Nick Pressey, William Rucker, and Corey Colby finishing 1 lap down. All of them. Lily Frazier 3 laps down. And then Keel Aldridge, the last finisher of this race. Lance Anthony, Nico Andrade, Josh Osborne, Casey Ellis, Andrew Fay, Brandon Statton, Scott McCann, Billy Smith, Dylan Williams, failing to finish. RC Grove did not start tonight's race here in Atlanta. A wild, wild race. Wild start. Convincing finish. Rick Ravon, champion of the series here in Season 5. A wild, wild, wild race. Everyone looking at tire wear at the moment. Tucker Sawyer holding on. Had his tire corded at the end of the race. So tire wear was falling apart rapidly here in Atlanta Motor Speedway. Rick Ravon being able to have a chance to celebrate. An absolutely wild event. This marks 10 race wins for Rick Ravon, a ABN broadcasting record for a season. 116 of 125 laps led tonight. Absolutely insane. Let's go ahead and take a second to step and talk to our podium finishers here tonight. Bobby Flowers knew it was going to be a very tall ask to try to grab the championship and keep it in reach tonight. Entered out more than 3 races behind. Third place, not quite enough. The championship now secured. No longer having to worry about that. Bobby walks through that race. It seemed like balance was the key factor tonight here in Atlanta.
I don't know. I don't even know what more I could have done. Obviously, for trying to at least get second in the points here, that was a good run for me, but I don't know. Rick was just so fast.
Walk us through that race, because speaking of the drivers after Kansas, it seemed like everyone was expecting that to be a pack race. And obviously we didn't see anything like that. Chaos at the start took out several cars, but it seemed like it didn't matter how many cars were on the racetrack. It was just going to spread out, and it was going to be very much manage the balance of the cars. What was it like on that one car side, just trying to manage everything? Because, it seemed super difficult. For you, it seemed like you were always chasing it. It seemed like it was worse at the start, and it got better at the middle point of the race. But just sort of walk us through sort of how you had to sort of fight that.
Honestly, it kind of felt pretty similar to how I would expect a stock car to run at an intermediate. First couple laps, it was flat out, wide open. But he really wanted to manage that right front and right rear wire really bad, because I don't know if it's because of the amount of load we're putting on the tires or what, but there was a couple times where I saw 330-degree tire temps on the digital dash. It was nuts. They just got so hot so quick and would wear out pretty quick. I think there's a couple guys in there that were talking about actually blowing a tire, getting a meatball from a blown tire. So it was just a lot of just trying to manage the tire wear and then keeping clean air. And I think the clean air was the biggest thing, because it was like as soon as Rick would get away, and then later in the race, Gaiman would get away, and I would get out of their dirty air, then it would be perfectly fine. But then there was just nothing more I could do, because at that point I was already in so much dirty air that there wasn't much to make back.
That being said, 3 races to go in this campaign here: Atlanta and the River Mirror. It's Phoenix, Portland, and Fontana. The championship conversation is wrapped up. Now it's the focus on that battle for second between you and Lance Anthony. You two have a pretty big mountain ahead of a battle for fourth. The Rookie of the Year battle is the one behind you guys at the moment. Phoenix, it's old Phoenix, so no dog leg to worry about. What's the feeling going into that race? It's not a track we use very often here on ABN, at least.
Yeah, if it was current Phoenix, I'd have a little better idea, because we ran that last season. I remember pitting way too early and falling like a rock, but I don't know what to expect with that going into old Phoenix. Portland, I'm kind of excited for. I have not raced that one in an IndyCar but ran a couple races in ARCA cars like a while ago when it first came out. So going to be a lot of reacquaintancing, I guess you could say, with that track.
I think everyone's gonna have to be reacquaintance themselves with Old Phoenix, especially with the everyone getting used to where the start finish line is located now, especially with the new layout. Everyone have to get used to turn 1 and 2 being just a little bit different this go around. That being said, a pretty busy week for the Atlanta Outlaws team. You battled your teammate there to hold on to the podium there. Atlanta Outlaws, 3rd, 4th, and 5th tonight in this campaign here in Atlanta. Wait to see you again on Monday, the HTL Cup Series race from Homestead. If there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Surviving is a key thing here. 3rd place, not a bad effort here in Atlanta.
Yeah, thank you. First, I got to thank Byron, especially, for running me clean there. Shout out to him. Shout out to all my other teammates, too, at Orlando Outlaws. Got to thank Creeper Host, Ulti Energy. We actually have a promo code with them. Use code Outlaws, save 10% off at checkout. Gotta thank 213simware.com. Gotta thank Twisted Speed Setups. Gotta thank you for putting on a good show every week. I know the internet was kind of iffy going into tonight, so good to see that there was a show that we could put on at least.
Yeah, the internet came on 20 minutes before we went live, so it was very touch and go. But that being said, we do get to see you again on Monday. So, Bobby, enjoy the podium tonight, and we get to see you again next week in Homestead. Hopefully, it's a good race, and we get to talk to you again on the podium there, too.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you.
A phenomenal job for Bobby Blowers. 3rd place tonight. Just 1 spot shy of Josh Gaiman here in 2nd place. Looked good at parts, but it looked like balance, dirty air, and tire management was the name of the game from what we've seen from others here tonight. Josh Gaiman, walk us through that perspective on your side, because you had a pretty touch and go first part of that race, and then things got better as the race went along.
Yeah, the first couple of runs there, the first actual green flag run. I just spent the time trying to figure out what to do with the weight jacker and the anti-roll bars and stuff, and was trying to just run up in the clean air, out from behind Rick as much as I could, and different cars would put their nose in there, and if you can't kind of cut down on the corner exits, it puts so much heat into the tires, and you can't really keep your momentum. But it's when you leave the door open, somebody's probably going to put their nose in there, so probably should have just tried to ride behind him. But yeah, after that first pit stop, I just kind of regrouped and maxed out the weight jacker and threw whatever anti-roll bars at it I could to get the car to turn, and eventually it found me some speed.
Not part of the championship conversation. You were just worried about getting the best result possible here. And Atlanta, we know how much of a bloodbath it can be. It was that way tonight. 9 DNFs. You were able to avoid practically all of it, despite tagging them all a couple times there in that first stint. Walk us through sort of, obviously, you talk about like just surviving and trying to adjust here. This racetrack is the fastest on the calendar outside of, I think, Irish Super Speedway. But even then, that track's 3 miles long. This is a mile and a half. How wild is it racing and touching 240 every lap?
Yeah, it's definitely a crazy track. It's shades of Texas 2001 practice. You're just so on edge all the time, and any little mistake's going to put you out in the fence, really, and there's not much you can really do about it. There's definitely a couple of times where I'd feel it get a little bit tight, and you'd have to just completely jump out of it and hope you don't get tighter and go to the wall. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's super fast. So at the end of the race, I look back and if I figured out what I did figure out earlier in the race, I could have maybe gotten a little bit closer. But Rick was just on a different planet.
3 races to go in the campaign here. Old Phoenix, Portland, and Fontana. Bit of a gauntlet coming up here over the next 3 weeks. Which race are you excited for more? There's all three are pretty good options.
Yeah. Gotta really think about which one I'm really excited for. probably Portland, to be honest. I mean, Indy GP gave me a good result, so and that Portland's just such a good track. Old Phoenix, I don't think I've raced there. I'm pretty sure some woolly mammoths were still alive whenever I last raced there, so but we'll see how that goes. That should be pretty fun, actually. I don't really know how the line goes there anymore with how different the track is now. So that'll be fun to figure out.
And that's the race coming up here next Thursday here for the Crown Athletics IndyCar Series. Before we let Josh go and let him celebrate his podium here tonight in Atlanta, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you, the floor is yours. I'm not sure if you were on the racetrack on Tuesday for the Challenger Series. We'll see that tomorrow night as we do the tape delay broadcast there. But if you did finish a podium there, then we get to take care of both at the same time. So the floor is yours.
Yeah. I'm just kind of doing my own thing here tonight. So I'll shout out the people that put this show on. This season's been really fun for the races that I could make. You for doing all these broadcasts and behind the scenes stuff that you do. It's been really, really cool to see, and all the expansion and everything. And everybody watching, you can't do it without people watching, and it makes it all worth it.
A lot of fun tonight here in Atlanta. Josh Gaiman finishes runner-up here in Atlanta, second place for the 61 camp as we look forward to Phoenix next Thursday. Josh, congratulations, and we'll see you then.
Thank you.
And then it's time for the man of the hour, 10-time race winner and the new IndyCar champion. Rick, walk us through that race. That was an untouchable car. Clean air was key. Tire management was key. But what we saw was an absolute spanking on the field. 116 laps led of 125. And all but 3 a lap down at the end. Walk us through that race, Rick. That was a phenomenal drive.
Oh, wow. So I locked up the championship, really?
Yeah, it's done and dusted.
I don't know what to say. I can't believe it. I'm so relieved. I put pressure on myself. I just don't know what to say. I'm so happy. I'm glad it's over with. I can kind of relax now. I really want to dedicate this win to my good friend David Cook, who hasn't been able to make it lately. But he's a good guy. David Cook, who I did not wreck at Pocono intentionally. Just want to point that out. That was a while ago, but I'm never going to let it go. It's a running joke with us now. I had to actually, I haven't quite been myself without David out there because, there's the competition between us. We're good friends and we've run a lot together. And without him out there, I just don't quite have the intensity or the focus. So I had to pretend like he was back there in 5th and starting to run me down in order to maintain that focus. But, in competition, you do what you have to do to try to gain an edge. So I was pretending that Dave was out there, even though he wasn't. Miss you, buddy. Hope you can join us next season. Hope things work out so you can join us again for a full season. And as far as the race is concerned, I figured in practice that clean air was going to be king here. This place is so insanely fast, for a mile and a half. High banks, fresh pavement. It just absolutely eats up tires. And so I knew that getting, qualifying up front, front 2 rows maybe, was going to be the key. And, if something was going to happen, you don't want to be in the back of the pack where the chances are you'll get involved in it. Plus, the clean air is really what mattered the most. We were able to grab the lead, and we were just in that clean air. And eventually, we were just starting to walk away from everybody. And, I didn't want to see a yellow come out. You never do when you have a big lead and an advantage like that. But, I guess we got a couple early yellows and then one during the run where I had something like a 6 or 7 second lead and say, well, I got to do this work all over again. And I remember when Bobby Blowers got by me in the pits, I was shocked. I'm thinking, did he short fill? Because we got into the pits pretty hot. I mean, I slid to a stop and nailed it. You know, I stopped on a dime, sliding into the pits. Couldn't get in there any quicker. And when we came out, he cleared me by, I think, a couple of car lengths. And I was like, oh, damn. You know, so just a matter of trying to get it back, and we were able to get by him. And I'm just glad it worked out. It all worked out. You know, congratulations to Josh Gaiman. Great guy. Good to see him up there, you know, finishing up there on the podium. And I just don't know what to say. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight. To grab another championship in another league is amazing. And it just goes to show you, when you're racing with a good field of drivers who race clean and aren't dirty driving you or ganging up on you and stuff like that, you know, when they race like gentlemen, this is what happens. And I'm just tickled to death. I don't know what else I could possibly say that I haven't said already. Oh, one last thing. Bobby Blowers, the last couple of laps, I saw that, you know, there was only one other person on the lead lap. That was Josh Gaiman. And I knew that I could trust Bobby. I figured, okay, let's have some fun. Let me see if I could put one more car a lap down just for fun. And we just couldn't quite get past him before the line. So, but we had a good laugh about that, me and Bobby. So that was fun there on the last lap. But I said, hey, nice job hanging on to the lap. He was like, yeah, I know, I was trying. So this is a great league, man. You know, Crown Athletics, it really doesn't get any better than this. It's a well-run league with good people, good classy drivers. And I'm just so happy. I don't know what else I could say.
The stress is lifted now. The championship is wrapped up for you with 3 races to go. You go into Legacy Phoenix. We talk about older racetracks. Phoenix, it does not get a lot more in that ballpark than Phoenix, and then Portland after that, the next 2 races. Then in Fontana, it's a pretty good gauntlet coming up here. Just going out and grabbing the results that you can. What's the vibe going into Phoenix now? The championship's locked up. Is that a racetrack you look forward to?
Well, yeah, I always look forward to Phoenix. It's a classic track for the Indy cars, and I'm excited to be going there. I'm surprised we're going to the older Phoenix, the retro or classic or whatever you want to call it, Phoenix, and not the newer version. But I'm excited about that because I think there's a little bit less grip at that Phoenix, if I remember. I haven't run there that much, but it also has that sort of classic feel to it. I don't particularly care for the way they redid it. Turn 1 is now, I guess, turn 3 or 4, and you know, all of that stuff. I like racing in classic Phoenix. It's the Phoenix that I grew up with, so you know, I'm excited to go there, and we're going to be after it. I can't believe I'm in the double digits with victories with a field this good. It's a dream come true, and just looking forward to the rest of the season. And I think next season, I think I might not even qualify. I'll just go out there and have some fun because we got the championship under our belt now. I can relax and just kind of take it easy and not be so ridiculously hyper-focused, you know, every race to get that win, get that win, get that win. So I could relax now, and I'm just so happy. I don't know what to say.
A phenomenal job all season long. 10 race wins this season, 16 here in kart in the Crown Athletics IndyCar Series in 33 starts. That's almost a 50% win rate on your career here just in this series alone. Before we let you go and let you enjoy your 10th race win and the championship that goes with it, Rick, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on both the race win and the championship. It's been historic. We've loved seeing it, and we're glad that we have at least 3 more races to watch history continue to kind of expand beyond that.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you, Carmen, obviously, for broadcasting these races. What a great job you do. I enjoy watching them back. I have to get up early, so I'm not going to be able to watch tonight, but I'll have it on in my truck while I'm working. Thanks to Lance and everybody involved with Crown Athletics. It's such a fantastic league. You know, I've been doing this 31 years now, and this is definitely one of the best leagues I've ever been involved in. Thanks to Kyle Clenworth for his friendship and his support. Thanks to my wife, Alana. I love you, sweetheart. My daughters, Zoe and Mila. I love you guys with all my heart. And of course, last but not least, got to thank the Lord Jesus for dying on the cross for me like I always do. Thank you, my precious Lord. I can't wait to spend eternity with you. And that's about it. But By the way, I hated that off week because I went through with serious withdrawals and I went into the ER 3 times for anxiety and depression, but I was able to come out of it. And I'm glad we're back to racing. I'm kidding about the ER thing, but I mean, it's terrible. It's such a fun league to race. You look forward to it every week. I hate those off weeks.
Well, we got 3 more weeks. That's straight through, coming up all the way through Labor Day. So soak it all in and enjoy it. Rick Ravon, champion of the Crown Athletics IndyCar Series here in Season 5. 3 races to go and 10 race wins already, Rick. Enjoy it. Congratulations on everything, and hopefully we get to talk to you again in Victory Lane again in Phoenix.
Well, I sure hope so. Thank you so much, Carmen. God bless you, and you're still in my prayers, my brother. Thank you.
A fantastic job for Rick Ravon. Congratulations, and we will see you again in Phoenix. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
A phenomenal job for Rick Ravon here tonight. Champion of the Crown Athletics IndyCar Series. And a wild, wild performance here. 116 laps led of 125 laps in this race. It's going to be a busier weekend for us here for ABN Studios. We missed the HL Challenger race. The finale on Tuesday. We'll be making that up here on Friday, tomorrow night. So we hope you join us there for that as well. If we don't see you then, we'll see you on Sunday for the Winstell Cup Series from Talladega. If we don't see you then, we'll see you on Monday for the HL Cup Series race from Homestead Miami Speedway. Or we'll see you next Thursday right here for the Crown Athletics IndyCar Series from Phoenix. A lot to enjoy here in ABN Studios. We survived the storm. It's storming again, but the air is calm here in Atlanta. Rick Ravon is champion of the Crown Athletics IndyCar Series in Season 5. If we don't see you again this weekend, we'll see you next week. Until then, I'm Carmen Sienna on behalf of CART and all of its partners, in ABN Studios and all of our partners, Henderson Graphics and Advanced. Stay safe and stay healthy. We'll see you again soon. Wherever we are, we'll join you there. So long, everybody.